Hello.
Yeah, Haribabu sir, the people are responding in chat box.
Acha, acha, acha. Actually, I'm sharing my full screen. That's why I'm not able to see the chat
Okay.
actually.
Ah,
So, okay, fine. Uh, okay. Let me know any application uh, designed using C Sharp. Anyone knows? Oh, okay. Let me start then. How many of you are familiar with installers? Let's say if you want to download Visual Studio, or let's say you want to download Skype, you want to download Teams, if you want to download Chrome, how we are installing it? Did any one of you know that? No, no. Then fine actually. Mostly C Sharp is everywhere actually. See, from installation, from running the servers, deploying the applications, everywhere we have C Sharp actually. So let me start with one. If you want to install some Visual Studio, which is an IDE where we can compile our C Sharp code, where we can design our web applications, everything related to web technologies, whatever may be services like Windows Communication Foundations or Web API, whatever the services we can design using C Sharp. So for the installer, so whatever the things we want to install into laptop or like sometime in Android mobiles, we'll be having equipped with an installer. Let's say .exe, .msi. Most of you are aware of that, right? So the mostly C Sharp installs are equipped with .msi files and .exe files as well. So .msi files were designed with C Sharp only. The first one. Second thing, web applications. Most of you know, right? Microsoft.com, Microsoft Visual Studio.com. Everything were designed using C Sharp. And moreover, if you see something like desktop applications, I think most of you are using desktop applications, right? In your laptops or desktops, most of you are using that. No? Yes, most of you are using that, right? So most of the Windows applications were designed using C Sharp with Windows, whatever the technology may be, Windows Forms or WPF. Most of the Windows applications were designed using C Sharp only. Uh, yeah, let's go into C Sharp. Screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Sure. So why C Sharp? Anyone know why C Sharp? Why we are using C Sharp today? Why there is a reason why we joined C Sharp class today? No?
Maybe this is the basic for the games and all that. The Visual Studio programming is done on this, like something like that.
Yeah, you are good. Thing is like apart from what I said earlier, not only desktop applications, not only web applications, most of the gaming engines were using C Sharp. That's why you are here for a overview on the C Sharp actually. So what is exactly the C Sharp? What exactly C is? C, Java. You are from CSE, right? I think you are already aware of why is Java and what is C, what is C++. I think you are aware. Then what is C Sharp? C Sharp is a language which is originated from the family of C and C++.
Sir, can you make the screen full screen?
Sure. In order to view the chart, actually, I'm using this. If you are okay, then fine. If you have any query,
Thank
please let me through your voice. Fine. Yeah, what exactly is C Sharp? C Sharp is a language. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
C Sharp.
Yes.
Then So in order to use C Sharp, we should have some technology. In order to use C Sharp, we need to have some platform. In order to use C Sharp, we need to integrate with some service. So what exactly the C Sharp is? Like C Sharp is C Sharp is a .NET language. Let's say as of now, C Sharp is a .NET language for you. Fine. C Sharp is more than what I tell. Actually, as of now, C Sharp is a .NET language. So whenever we want to develop different types of softwares like desktop applications, web applications, we can use C Sharp. So why only C Sharp? C Sharp is having block level programming. Very first thing is block level programming. C Sharp supports design patterns. Design patterns in the sense, so whenever we are going into software development, we used to face a word called architecture. So I think you are all familiar with architectures. We're having multiple architectures. So in order to make a web application or a Windows application or any application that is designed using C Sharp, we should follow some architecture and a design pattern. So design patterns make us code more flexible and allows us our application to be good performer, right? So namespaces. Why namespaces and what are namespaces? Let's say namespaces in this sense. So we can say it as a container. I think we all know about containers, right? Let's say, I mean, a container in this sense. I think you are familiar with containers, right? Containers are a holder. Container is nothing but which holds couple of items. Here in C Sharp, container in this sense, it holds couple of classes, cluster of classes, cluster of methods, states, behaviors, everything, which will be included in namespace actually. Namespace is completely a cluster of classes. Mainly namespace is a cluster of classes. Next, versioning. Like how many of you are aware of the releases actually? Release in this sense, like Angular. Many of you are aware of Angular. Let me know any releases related to software actually. Let's take C Sharp as example. C Sharp, the earlier version is version 1, released in the year 2002. And the latest version is C Sharp 8.0 and it is released in the year 2019. So there are a lot number of releases happen. Let's say total number of 9 in the past few years, right? So every time Microsoft is developing complete support for the C Sharp, which we call as base class libraries. So while releasing something or while releasing related class libraries or while releasing some namespaces or while releasing a product, we used to work with versioning. Say 2020 is a version, right? Let's say 2020. So most of the C Sharp will be having versioning actually 2020. Major in the sense 2020, minor in the sense we can have multiple releases in a year. So minor in the sense 2020 01. If we are having some patch, let's say P1, 2020 01.P01, 2020.02.P02. So versioning. Versioning is supported by our C Sharp. What is attribute driven development? So attribute driven development, as of now you can leave it, but attribute driven development in this sense, while going, if you are aware of web APIs, or if you are aware of services, or let's say if you are aware of unit testing, actually most of their work driven by attributes actually. If you are aware of put methods, post, I think you are aware of post, put, delete, right? So actually, there is no need of, say, if you are using browser, let's say I will open a browser. If you say something, google.com. What is the first request? We used to have actually. The first request we used to call it as get method actually. So where in Java, like where in other languages, mostly we used to write our own method for getting a post call or put call. or get call. But wherein C#, there is no need of that. Just we need to decorate a method with attribute will automatically route the relevant URL. So next, minimal learning curve for everyone. So how many are aware of C? I think most of you are aware of C and C++, Java and all, right? So I'm sure that C# doesn't require much time to learn and much time to practice and much time to design your applications. I'm sure. Let's learn it. C#, actually C# completely supports modular programming and component programming. Modular and component in the sense every line of code which you wrote can be easily reusable. And there is nothing that can't be used actually. So we are having multiple concepts in C# where the code reusability is there, and moreover we'll see dependency injections, everything is there. And C# is mostly close to C only, like printf will be having some syntax near to it, like console.writeLine. And it is very easy to switch to C#. If you are familiar with C, if you are familiar with C++, then it is very easy to switch to C#. That's fine. So the basic programming structure will be like this. So where in the sense, the first thing we are seeing is using system. System here is an system is a predefined base class library actually. It is a predefined one supporting by Microsoft. We are not creating our own, as of now, we are not creating our own base class library. As we go on, as we learn something related to DLLs, dynamic link libraries and all base class libraries, we can create our own base class libraries. We are using is an keyword. Most of you are aware that #include, right? #include will be including header files with #include, right? Similar way, we are using keyword here to include a name, include a base class library actually. So namespace, I have already told you, right? A namespace in the sense, it's a container. Namespace. Let's say we have a couple of classes which supports let's say we have department, and let's say we have college. In the college we have department. In the department we have faculty. In the department we will be having students. Say everything, whatever the branch, whatever may be the department, or whatever may be the faculty, whoever may be the faculty, everyone will be held under JNTU, right? Or college. So here we can describe the namespace as a cluster which is being handled under a single entity. Namespace can hold complete cluster of classes, or complete cluster of methods, behaviors, states and behaviors, fields, everything under single entity or single container. This is what as a namespace is defined actually. And the most well-known word is class. I think you are all aware of class. So let me have some bidirectional interaction. I'm not getting anything from you guys.
Yes,
But
sir.
there,
Yes, sir.
sir, how is the session so far actually? Is it interesting or it's a kind of sleepy session?
So maybe it seems like it's just building up. We are building momentum. It seems so.
Yeah, I'm trying that. We'll gain more momentum as going forward. Like I'm just giving a push. Yep.
Yes, the idea was the games building and all that. So that
Yep.
is the climax that we are building upon. I think so.
Yeah. Actually,
it seems the beginning. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. You are right. Actually, if you want to crack a Big Bang theory, we should know the fundamentals, right? Or we should know the overview, what it is about, right?
Agreed,
so that's
sir.
why we are here. Yeah, that's why I'm starting with the basics itself. So it will be very easy for you to grab whatever the scripting that was there in that you are going to be writing in that Unity 3D. Unity as editor actually. Most of you are using the same thing. Most of you are using collections, everything. I am going to discuss in the same class actually. So class and class name, and a class name can be name, any name actually. So void, I think you are mostly of you are familiar with void.
Right.
Why void?
Why?
Void in the sense it returns nothing.
Yes, void means nothing. Yes.
Yeah, it returns nothing. So and a main method. So every main program or every, I mean, whatever in the C sharp, the main program class or the main execution class will be equipped with main class. There will be having only one main method out of all the application or out of all the service or out of all namespace, like in a complete namespace, we'll be having only one main method. Why main method? So most of the execution starts from main method, right? That's I think you are familiar with that. The execution always starts from main method. So this is the overview of a class or overview of a program, a simple program. So going forward, we'll be having types in the sense data types. Most of you are familiar with the data types, but most of the data types were similar to the types like C, C sharp, I mean C++, Java. Most of them were similar. And the namespaces in the sense we are going to discuss about base class libraries. Base class, most of them are predefined base class libraries like system. System is one of the base class library that is given by or provided by Microsoft. And the type declarations in the sense variable declaration of types, classes. Mostly are familiar now. You are familiar with class, structures, interfaces, enumerators, and delegates. Members in the sense every, I mean, variable or method, whatever there in the class is a member of class actually. So constants, fields in the sense variables, properties, methods, event handlers. I think mostly events are not at all required, but we'll see it actually. Operators and a constructor. Why a constructor actually? We need a constructor for a class to invoke it, right? What is a destructor then? Destructor. We use destructor to destruct the object, right? If you want to construct with constructor, then destructor is to destruct, right? No? That's fine. We'll discuss it in the ongoing session, like fine. So everything is well organized in C Sharp. We'll be having a proper format. We'll be having namespaces followed by class names, followed by methods, followed by fields, followed by garbage collectors. I think the most very good feature of C Sharp is I think we don't need to. I don't think. I mean, there is no need of garbage collection in the C Sharp. JIT compiler or CLR will take care of it. Don't bother about that. If you are using any unmanaged code like C, then we need to call the destructor, or then we need to call the garbage collector explicitly. This is how CLR execution will be there. Like whatever may be the language, C sharp, VB, C++. In the initial stage, it will be the language compilers will convert the C sharp to C sharp complete code to language understandable code actually. I mean, in this language compiler will compile its own understanding format. Later, this language compiler will pass the same code to MSIL. MSIL in the sense Microsoft Intermediate Language. Here we can see that managed code. Managed code will again be converted into native code, which is which will be understandable by operating system. So all these things were done by JIT compiler. Initially, there will be language compilers. Language compilers will convert the language code, C sharp, VB.NET, C++ code into assembly code, Microsoft Intermediate Language code or assembly language code or managed code. And the same code will be compiled by JIT compiler to native code. And the native code will be understandable by operating system. So can we go to before going here? Yep. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Actually, I have forwarded one of the document. If you are interested to learn C Sharp, you'll be using one of the IDE. I mean, most of the languages are using IDE, right? So here we have Microsoft Visual Studio.
Sir, a small question.
Yeah.
Will we be doing something on our like hands-on while you are teaching, or it will be as a watching?
Mostly like if you are having Visual Studio, you can start, or else I will be
Yes,
showing, or
we have Vision Studio. We have it.
yeah, I will be assisting you
So
to
if you can
execute, no
send us
problem.
some files so that we can use it and we can work in tandem with you.
Yeah, that's fine then. Actually, then I will show you how to start. Actually,
Ha,
I think
please, please. Ha.
everyone is okay to do that.
If it's in the plan, then we go with the plan. So whatever is the plan.
The
Because
plan actually,
otherwise it would be like watching.
yeah, that's good. There won't be a CP session as for you, right? Let's start with one program. There will be nothing like that. Yeah, we'll start here. So I think, guys, you're having Visual Studio on your machines. If not, also it is fine.
Is
You
there
can watch.
anything we can do something online? Though I have it, but I'm trying to just learn it how to start even.
Acha, 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 acha. That's fine. There are a lot many compilers online as of now, right? You can use them. Nothing is a problem here. 2020 has created a good digital revolution here. No problem. Right. Actually, I have shared one of the document with Channa sir related to Visual Studio installation. If you want to install Visual Studio IDE, then you can take the document from Channa sir and you can install your Visual Studio IDE in your missions. Most of the like hardware requirement will be like at least there should be 4 GB of RAM, and you can download this Visual Studio directly from Microsoft Visual Studio actually.
I think participants have installed Visual Studio yesterday as part of Unity.
Then fine actually.
As part of Unity, they have installed Visual Studio. Few people might have missed it.
Yeah, that's fine, sir. I think you can directly down. I think if you are having that document, then you will be installing. Thank you, sir. Thanks for informing. Then I think we can start now. That's good. So, I think let me first set the context so that you can start on, right? Visual Studio. If you are having Visual Studio install in our mission, then you can right click on Visual Studio. You'll be getting run as administrator. We'll be having list of options here. And are you able to follow?
Yes, we are following, sir.
Yeah. Or if you're having Visual Studio install and you don't know the location also, that's fine. You can set it in search box, then you can right click on it. Then it will be giving a list of options where we need to run it as administrator. Always try to use run as administrator mode so that there won't be any problem while accessing the files. As of now, we are not accessing any files. That is, there is no problem. But if you're working on files and all, like you should run it as administrator. Now you can click on run as administrator. It will be giving an user access control where you will be giving the elevated permissions for the Visual Studio. So as of now, I have installed Visual Studio 2019. There are a couple of versions as Microsoft have launched many Visual Studios from 2008 to 2019, and multiple updates were there. You can install any of the community versions if it is for your own hands-on session, or if you want to work. I mean, if you are there in the organization, or if you are going to have some license, then you can go for a professional version. If you are business oriented, then you need to go for enterprise. Most of you can have community version, which is a very free version. You can use it, right? Now I'm giving the elevated permission to the Visual Studio 2019. Right? We'll be getting the same prompt.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm continuing without code. Fine. Or you can click on create a new project.
Yes, this thing comes. Yes.
Yes, right. As of now, we are going to learn on .NET Framework only. We are not at all going to work on .NET Core or any universal Windows platform. So we'll be selecting console app .NET Framework.
So
You
we
can
use
search.
WPF user control library or
No. We'll be using console application .NET Framework. Console app .NET Framework.
we have WPF app.NET framework. We have
No.
WPF
We should use
app.NET.
console app. You'll be having search option at the top, right? So there you can search it. Here you'll be having search option on the top. There you can search it. Console application .NET Framework. You guys able to get it?
Console application.
Yes, sir, got it.
You got it? Click here. You can select console application .NET Framework. Just next. You will be giving a prompt to rename it. You can give your own name. Let's say intro to C#. Something like that. It will be listing .NET Framework at the bottom. I think you will be able to see that, right? These are the list of .NET frameworks that have been released by Microsoft. So there is no C# if there is no .NET Framework, right? Then can click on create.
Maybe I have to install it. I don't know why it is not there.
Once the creation got succeeded, then you will be able to see the Visual Studio IDE with your program.cs open in the main canvas, and you will be having Solution Explorer to write. And this layout can be customizable. Fine. Can we go ahead? I will give you 2 more minutes.
So I'm trying to install few more versions. Like
Actually, I mean, if you are already having at least one version, that is fine. Don't bother about others.
I mean to say I cannot find a console thing on my that list of items. So it says search for new items. So I'm again back on the workloads, components, language packs. So how do I find? How do I find there?
Actually, there will be an option called .NET Desktop Development.
Yes, it is. It is there. It is tick already. It was installed already.
If it is there, then you should be able to open this. I mean, open this console application.
Is it?
I think you guys are working in isolation. I mean, if you have any doubt, please let me know.
So can I show you my screen? Is possible? Is it possible to share screen?
Yeah,
It doesn't.
it's fine, but should not be a disturbance for other participants.
It is not there. Option is not there. Okay.
Or else I will be showing that. If you
Please
have any
continue.
doubts, you can.
No
Yeah.
problem. We continue.
So here, whatever the structure I have seen you, I mean, I have shown you in the presentation. I think you will be having the same thing here, right? Using system.collection, generics, link queue, text, threading task. I think, these are all not needed as of now. So using system, I think you are familiar now, right? Using system is a base class library that is provided by Microsoft. Actually, as per the convention, we should not use using system here. It should be inside a namespace actually. As per industrial standard, we should use using system inside a namespace. Actually, the space above here is for mainly for legal. Actually, I mean trademarks, legal, copyrights, everything is there, right? For a company, if you are having a company, there should be a complete detailed information and a copyright information for the namespace and the DLL actually. So you'll be having complete info of a namespace here actually. So let's say we have I don't want to waste much time here actually. Some legal trademarks, something like this, and the DLL version we can use DLL version something blah blah blah. Well, I have already, in the interest of time, I have already did it. Let's say this one. A sample program. I mean, whatever we want to mention about a namespace or the DLL. Actually, the complete namespace will be converting into an DLL basing on the selection. Actually, if we select a template called class library, then it will be completely converting into an DLL. Some, let's say my first char app .dll will be there if you are using class libraries, or else if you are using an console application or something, it will be .exe actually. So at the top station will be always there for what we call information session for the DLL actually. So while going to next, actually, I want to tell you, right? Slash star and star slash comment session. Actually, we'll be having commenting session, which is // here. Whatever you'll be giving won't be executed by the CLR commenting. So this is a single line comment, and above one is a multi-line comment actually. So if you want to comment this, you'll be using multi-line comment. You can uncomment that. Here will be something like this. So now everything is single line comment. So I have moved the complete namespaces inside the namespace. I mean, complete base classes inside the namespace. So these were all predefined. If whatever you find with the name system, it will be from Microsoft only. So if we are using our own libraries, if you are using own DLLs, then it will be a customized one. We should not use system, because there will be ambiguity issue between the DLLs which were provided by Microsoft and which we are using actually. So this is a program. A class can be declared with using class keyword and a class name. Class keyword and a class name. So a program, a main method will be there in a single program actually. If you are using main program, then it will be having main method. Whatever the program, if you write main method, the program execution starts from that actually. Let's say if you are having something called another program class C, class A, class B. If you write the main method inside that, the CLR execution method will be something like this. First, the CLR will search for main method. Out of all the classes, it will search for main method. Before that, it will load all the methods into the method execution area. After loading them into method execution area, it will pick out the main method and it starts executing from it. Right? So this is our first application. Console.writeLine. Console.writeLine is something like printf. I think you are familiar with printf, right? I'm also a little familiar with printf. Like printing onto console, we should use this console.writeLine. So console.readLine. Actually, console.readLine, mostly we use it for reading the characters or sequence of strings or whatever the input user has given in the console. So let me execute this. You can click on start. We'll start executing. So now it is there. That's it. Welcome to C#. Fine. This is how the program looks like for Hello World. In order to exit from the console, we should click on enter. Now we have been exited out of that. Still now everything is clear. Start. I have already told you, right? It will create an exe, executable file. So now everything is cool. Can we go ahead? Guys, please respond.
Yes, sir.
For running, we need to do build or run code analysis on solution.
Actually, if you click on start, it will automatically build the changes and it will save it first and build and automatically.
Hello.
Sorry. Yep.
Nitin sir,
Vijay
very,
sir.
very good morning.
Arey, number change.
Vijay sir बोल रहे
Number
हैं.
change.
How are you?
Sorry. But actually, I'm getting a shift. I mean, is it from the participants or am I rerouted to something?
I think it's outside. Somebody received a call.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. That is it. Fine. Can we go ahead?
Yes, sir.
We
Yes.
are running out of time. Yeah. Like other languages like C, C++, Java and all will be having data types here. Like we'll be having mainly two different types of data types where we'll be calling that as I mean, signed, unsigned will be there. Integer will be having multiple types inside that. Integer types, where integer types will be again categorized as two things, where will be signed and unsigned. We'll be having inside the integer type, we'll be having byte, signed byte, short, few short. I mean, there will be a couple of calculations here. Like I think will be already aware of that, right? There will be a limit for every data type. So similar to that, we'll be having data limitation for every data type for byte, I mean S byte, signed byte, short, few short. But don't bother about all. Like we will be mostly using integer for integers. And if you are going to work on a long, I mean, if you are going to have values more than exceeded, then we'll be going for long. Floating types. I think you are familiar with floating types in the sense we'll be having decimal points at the end. So floating means, let's say if we are having integer 1, it is integer. If you have one dot something, it will be considered as float. And we'll be having double as well as decimal will be there. I think I forgot to mention decimal. We'll be having decimal as well. Yeah, we have extract numeric type as decimal. And for character type, in order to read the data as characters, if you want to
send you my CV.
हाँ,
You
sir.
want a brief profile or you want a full CV?
सर CV भेज दीजिए ना.
हाँ, मैं भेज रहा हूँ. अभी भेज रहा हूँ and I'll post on my professor's group if anybody else
हाँ.
is available.
ठीक है
for it.
सर. ठीक है सर.
ठीक है sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Take
sir.
care.
Bye.
Thank you.
So character types in the sense it will be including only single character or it will include a double quoted single character actually. String. String is nothing but a sequence of characters. Let's say hello world. We can have a string data type. Boolean type in the sense like we'll be having bool. It will be equipped with true and false actually. Let me open that. I already have some example. So I think, are you guys able to see the Visual Studio? Fine. Can I go ahead? Nothing, like I will take it as okay and I will go ahead. So integers, as discussed, like we'll be mostly using integer and double and string and Boolean types actually. I mean,
I
if
think
you are
also we all are familiar with data types because
Sorry?
as we all know about C language, so this thing I don't think so that many of you would be having problem in this.
Yep. I think then we can easily skip this with a little discussion, right?
Yes.
So, so
Okay, let him cover because most of the participants are from other branches. So they don't belong to computer science. So maybe they need something about it. Let him cover
Okay.
few
Fine.
fundamentals.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's fine for me.
Requested to make a note that this is just an overview of C Sharp. You need fundamentals of C Sharp in Unity because the programming language which is used for development is C Sharp. You should know about just namespaces, what are the data types that are available, how to declare a class, how to write a function, what are the significance of private and public variables. Because we'll be using those things in developing applications in Unity. Public variable, you will be accessing it in inspector window. Probably, I think you are not. If you are familiar with Unity IDE, there will be inspector window where you have to can view the properties. So some fundamentals of C Sharp are required. You need not become an expert in C Sharp. If you really have a knowledge about some programming language, C or maybe preferably some object-oriented programming language, that's enough to do programming in Unity. You need not become an expert in C Sharp. So please try to know the fundamentals of C Sharp. That's enough. The data types, console.writeln and debug.log, probably it will be covered. How to declare a class, how to declare the functions. That's enough. With that, you can do the programming in C Sharp.
Yes, sir, you're right. Sir, for this Unity, I mean, AR and VR, I mean, if you are going to design a gaming engine and all, you will be required to learn all the complete in-depth of C Sharp, or else you would be like to playing with the Unity 3D, then I think it won't bother you much if you are not going to in-depth. I mean, like, you can learn the basics so that you'll be easily getting what exact programming is do in the sense of Unity actually. So I will be, I mean, I will be not wasting most of your time. Like I will be discussing a very few things in the data types. Like let's say integer data type. If you are having integer data type, we'll be declaring it as int and a variable name data type. Here we'll be taking the variable or a field as data type first, data type, then data type name actually. Like it will be like data type. Followed by the name of the field, some name, let's say. Like if you want to assign a value, then you can use some value here, something value. So actually I have declared multiple data types here. The very first one is integer, where the integer data type will be capable of storing the data up to what I have given here. Not going to spell this. Wherein we'll be having signed and unsigned. So we'll be having negative integers and positive integers as well. For the long data type, first we'll be using long type for integer. I mean, we are having, if we want to equip our variable with a long range of values actually. For long type, we'll be having up to this type, I mean, up to this number. So apart from that, integer long belong to the same integer, I mean numeric type. Apart from that, we'll be having floating point integers and double and decimal, where they will be using for having decimal digits. If you are having 7000.77, let's say in the banking application, we'll be having your account will be crediting with 1000 rupees dot 34 paisa. So in this sense, we need to use a data type which is supportable for decimal digits. So we'll be using float data type and double data type and decimal data type, wherein float, double, decimal data types will be using basing on the requirement. Mostly in the application we'll be using double or float actually in the class itself. I mean, and Boolean. So Boolean, I think most of you are familiar with Boolean, right? Am I going fast or is it fine? Is it okay to slow down, or is it? I mean, are you guys matching with my frequency? So I need some input. If not, like, I will consider it as yes. Okay, fine then.
It's
Boolean.
okay.
It's okay. Then fine for me. Boolean. Boolean in the sense, most of you know, right? It will be 1 or 0 in the sense of other departments. Like if you are ECE, then you will be considering 0 and 1, or if you are CSE point of view, like you will be considering Boolean as true or false, right? And the character, like mostly a character data type will be using if you want to store a single character in the sense, let's say A, B, like that, and string. For the string data type, if you want to store a cluster of characters, or if you want to store a sequence of characters, we'll be using string data type. So the declaration will be something like string, where we call it as data type, and name of the variable, new string. New string here we can call as data. This is a variable name. String is the data type here. Fine. So if you want to use, if you want to assign a value to a declared variable, you can use, you can directly assign a value to already initialized variables, like something num1. Num1, you can use something like 25, like that, or you can directly use the same syntax, integer data type space, name of the variable, and you can assign a value like 21. So the similar value we can print it from console.writeline. In the sense, we can print it in the console. The same for floating type, double type. You can see, right, for the floating point numbers, we'll be having f at the end, and for the double type, we'll be having .d at the end. In the sense, decimal. So for other type also, we'll be having long L. So this is the thing about data types. Actually, if you want me to execute, then I can execute this. Sorry, something. Okay, I need to come. So up to this initial value, let me show it side by side. So whatever the declared assigned variable num is got printed on the console, which is 21. The floating point number, which is my num, is printed as 5.7. 5.75, similar to the all other variables which we have written in console.writeline up to num2, actually my num2. So as going forward, actually, learning data types doesn't bother you much, but type conversions will bother you much. So I think already done with this data type variable name. So we will be having multiple syntax. There will be declaring data type, let's say integer, and a variable name. Or you can directly use data type, variable name, and we will be initializing a value, actually. So that up to this, it is fine. The next, typecasting. Typecasting, I think most of you, we will be having typecasting in the sense, if we want to convert string type to other data type, or if we want to convert some data type to other data type, we'll be focusing on typecasting. Here we'll be having implicit typecasting, explicit typecasting, and boxing and unboxing. Implicit typecasting.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, during this project creation, I am not finding console.NET framework, sir. I have installed Visual Studio, but the console app is there. So what we have to do for console.NET framework, sir?
Me too, same problem, sir.
Same problem. Can we discuss or I will give you 1 minute of time. Can you share? Can anyone of you share that?
Yeah, sir. Right now I'm in mobile phone, sir. I'm using laptop. So, sir, anyone who is facing same issue they can say, sir.
Sir, I
Or
have
else
the
I
same
will.
issue,
Yeah.
but we cannot share the screen. We don't have options to share screen.
Acha, okay. Then I will be assisting you at the end. Then is
ठीक
it
है,
fine
sir.
for you?
ठीक है, sir.
I think there shouldn't be a problem for that. Or else you need to select .NET framework individually in the component list. I think you'll be having component list selection dialog available once after clicking on continue in the installation, right? There, I think you need to select individually the .NET framework.
So you can show the demo.
You want me to continue? I think everyone has followed the same document, right? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. We can see.
But we have not, sir, we have not received any such instruction material.
So if you didn't receive it yet, it will be fine. I will share it again, or I will ask Chanda sir to share to all the participants, because I don't be having everyone's mail IDs with me.
भावना
at the
मैम
end
गुड
we'll be
मॉर्निंग.
Hello?
भावना मैम गुड मॉर्निंग. अच्छा मैम, एक ना मेल आया है शुक्ला मैडम का. It is by Sabina madam.
like, can you see it here?
So
while installing.
what you can do, you can upload it on the Google Drive and you can share the link in the chat box.
Sure, I will do it at the end.
क्या है कुछ सब भेजो. तो जैसा आप बताओ सर, क्या बोलते हैं, क्या करें?
As of now, I don't have access to upload as it is different. I mean, machine.
List of participants, ना?
You must see that .NET framework is already selected while installing. Here, right at the end, you'll be seeing .NET Desktop Development Tools, .NET Desktop Framework 4.7.2 Development Tools, C#, Visual Basic, install code. Everything need to be checked there. So I will be sharing this document. Don't bother about that. So let me continue, please.
अच्छा ठीक है. हाँ, okay. No hurry.
अभी सर is basically कुछ परेशान है सर.
क्या हो गया?
अरे कुछ होता रहता है.
Anything I can help?
नहीं, डॉक्टर शुक्ला और सर की क्वेश्चन है आपके.
Nitin sir, your
Anything.
mic
I
is
don't
on.
know. Anyway, we can support
Nitin sir,
something.
your mic is on.
नहीं, आप तो अच्छे से already contributing in the
Can we be on
right
mute,
direction,
please?
so we hope कुछ अच्छा निकलेगा इससे.
हाँ डॉक्टर, वो कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. अभी ना वो कल मेरी बात हुई थी, वो जो वीसी हैं झारखंड के, तो उनसे मेरी बात हो रही थी.
Administrator, kindly if you can mute him.
नितिन, जो आप कर रहे हो ना, लेट अस डू समथिंग, एक्सटेंशन करवा दो हमारे कैंपस में.
Please mute
तो
other part.
मैंने कहा कि मैं सर आप अप्रूवल ले लीजिए गुरिंदर सर से, whatever he says, and then we can just extend it in your campus. So वहाँ की जो फैकल्टी हैं, they were attached with me for some time. So उनको पता लगा हो कि हम ये कर रहे हैं, तो they told their own VC. So VC called me, उन्होंने कहा नितिन ये हमारे यहाँ भी करवाओ. तो मैंने कहा जैसे सर आप बोलो, और हम whatever गुरिंदर सर says we do it. As simple as that. बस एक उधर का है, एक छत्तीसगढ़ का है. दाइमा सर वहाँ बैठे हुए हैं. दाइमा सर वहीं बैठे हुए हैं.
Could you please mute the participant?
He's the pro-VC ना, he's the pro-VC there.
कभी जयपुर
हाँ, वो घूमते रहते हैं.
Hello Nitin sir. Hello Nitin sir. Hello Nitin sir. Please mute your phone. Hello Nitin sir. Please mute your phone. You are disturbing the meeting. Entire meeting. Okay. Thank you. Sir, please carry on, sir.
Like if you're not if you're not having any queries, please be on mute, so that there won't be any disturbance for the other participant as well. Hope you understand. Yep, like typecasting. Typecasting in the sense, we'll be having sometimes, let's say in the console, if we are giving something, it will be converted into string type. Let me show you that. See, it is saying the next line of characters cannot implicitly convert. At the end, you can see CS0029 cannot implicitly convert type string to integer, in the sense integer. So whatever the input which we are giving from console, it will be of type string. So there could be a chance that we need integer values. So at that time, we'll be going for conversions actually. So basing on this, we'll be having multiple type of conversions, where the first thing is related to implicit conversions. So implicit conversions in the sense, the type of character, let's say character is there. Character, from character, it will be occupying only 1 byte of space, right? So for integer, it will be more. So there is no need of conversion for when we are using character type to another data type. So if you want to use integer, if you want to capture character type into integer, then there is no need of converting. Microsoft will itself convert that type into required type. That thing we called it as implicit data type. Implicit data type. See here. See, if we want to character, if we have received character and if we want to convert into integer, so then there is no need of again converting, because character data type will be equipped with low memory, wherein integer will be having high. So there is no need of converting it again. So Microsoft will take care of that. I mean, internal CLR will take care of that, and it will be converting it on own. So there is no problem for that. So again, if you want to convert the type from integer to long also, internally it will convert. There is no need of that. But we need to convert these things when we are going with higher types. If we want to go back from double to float, say if we received that variable of type double, and if we want to convert it to float, then we need to go for typecasting. That typecasting, we can call it as explicit typecasting. In explicit typecasting, we'll be having multiple techniques. In explicit typecasting, we'll be having multiple techniques, wherein the first one is related to parsing, and the second one is related to converting. The third one we can call it as so this is different. Parsing and converting comes under explicit typecasting. So if we want to convert the data type explicitly, then we will go for explicit typecasting. There will be two techniques, wherein the first one is parsing technique and the second one is converting technique. So if you see here, I have already shown you, right? So in program.cs, console.readline is throwing an error saying that cannot implicitly convert type string to integer. So what we can do it here, like convert dot to int convert dot to int 32 of console.readline. So what it will do, it will convert the type which we have entered in console into the required type. The required type is integer type. So I will execute this and I will show you. So now it is asking to value, I mean, if we enter some value, let's say 12 here, the converted value will be 12. Previously it will be of type string, but by using this explicit conversion or explicit typecasting, now we have converted it to type integer. So now it is not throwing any errors, right? This is how we'll do conversions for required things actually. There will be multiple conversions available, but you need to focus on them little later. As of now, I think you should be aware of what is going on under the hood actually. So that's why we'll be focusing on very little things. So I will explain you here, we'll be having multiple techniques like I have discussed parsing technique. So if you want to convert it, the string type to integer, we can use two types, wherein the first one is related to parsing, int.parse. If you use int.parse, it will convert the related string which you have received from console to integer type, where this is the first technique. The second technique in the sense, this is conversion technique. Why parsing technique and conversion technique? Wherein the first one will convert only from string type to any other type. String type to any other type in the sense, we can convert string type to integer, we can convert string type to decimal, we can convert string type to floating point, we can convert to double type. But wherein conversion, what is the capability of conversion technique? Conversion technique can convert any other data type to other data type. In the sense, if we got 12 here, which is a numeric data type, it will also get converted into any other type. If we want to convert it to float also, we can convert. We'll be having multiple overloaded classes here which are capable of converting. So mostly we'll be using convert.toInt32 if we want to convert integers. Similarly like others. So you can see here, we can call this as a metadata. So whatever the functions are available, whatever the methods are available, that is exposed by Microsoft will be there here. So we used to call it as a metadata. So now we have used .toInt32, right? .toInt32. If you use, I mean, whatever the value it is received, it doesn't bother about that. It will convert the complete thing actually. If it receives short s byte, signed byte also, it will convert it. If it receives character, it will also store the value. I mean, we'll be having ASCII value, right? For character type, it will be having ASCII value. It will be get stored into that type. So .toInt32, .toInt34. For float, it will be different. For s byte, it will be different. So the main importance of conversion using converting technique is like it will be connecting from one data type to any other data type. But wherein the parse will be used only for converting string type to other data types. From string data type to any other. But wherein this converting technique will be used to convert from any data type to any type. You got it? Got the point? Can I take it as S? There. Please acknowledge me, please. Am I audible? I got disconnected.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No. You are connected, sir.
Oh, thank you then. See, another technique is boxing and unboxing. So boxing and unboxing is you mainly use it when we want to convert object type. Any object. It could be an employee object, it could be a department object, or it could be any object. So the main object, what can I say? Like whatever may be the type, the super class will be object. Whatever we have, super class will be object. So if we want to convert one object type to another object type, then we will go for boxing and unboxing. So let's say we have integer value as 20, right? So int b value equal to 20. So now in the sense integer, the b value will be having integer data type, which is value is 20. But if we assign the value b val, in the sense 20, if we assign 20 to object, it will be capable of doing that. There is no problem if we assign any data type to object, because it is master of all. So it will be able to handle everything, or handle any data type, it can be equipped, right? So but wherein if we want to assign back the object data type to integer, it can't be possible, because there is no typecasting is there, whether it may be implicit typecasting or explicit typecasting. We need, if we want to convert one object type to another object type, then we'll be going for boxing and unboxing. So if we say here type of object type integer, then it will be converting the data type to integer. So now in this case, we'll be going with boxing and unboxing techniques, right? You got my point? That is about actually typecasting. I think that is about data types and data typecastings. Implicit typecasting, explicit typecasting, boxing and unboxing. Can I go ahead? Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll be having break time.
No, sir. You can go on.
Hari, if you want to take, let's take a 15 minutes break.
Sir, I mean, it is okay for me. Like, if the participants need a break of at least 5 to 10 minutes, then I can give, no problem. Let them have some break, sir, because I think they were already in sleepy state. It seems no one is responding.
No, okay. Till now, shall we find if at all are there any doubts for participants?
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure, sir. Yeah,
participants
that is fine for me.
Raise any doubts if you have till now.
Sir,
if all the doubts are clear by this session, we will take a 10 to 15 minutes break, and then we will join by 11:45.
Yeah.
Sir, please
Sir,
share the new attendance.
If in the break time, you can help us install that thing.
Sure. No problem for me.
Sir, attendance link shared is editable, and you have to share new one.
Sorry?
Yes. So the attendance sheet that you have shared is editable. So you need to share the viewpoint so that we can mark the attendance. The main sheet has been shared. Form has been shared.
Yes, it was editable. I was wondering, am I opening my account or something?
Any doubts till now, like about C#, about like data types, about data type conversions? So now we have completed those, like namespaces, class types, class, main method.
So this is okay going on. Like this needs a little practice, but these are the concepts are already long time. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, if you are having a good hands-on, then you will be able to get everything. C# is very easy to learn. If I'm going in depth, means again the session will be again sleepy only. That's why I'm not taking that much depth.
So, sir, Unity will require this kind of a thing, or it is like drag and drop, something like that?
Unity in this sense, like if you want to design or if you want to modify any 3D model which is already available, then it is a kind of drag and drop only. If you want to rotate or if you want to do any kind of animation for augmented reality models or VR models, then we need to have any C# script which will be automating those models actually. So if you are having a rectangle object, if you have kept some rectangle object on some image or at least on any background. So if you want to move that object with your input, let's say if you are given 12, if you want to move that object to the position of or at an angle of 12, then we need a script to move that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we used to use C# for scripting that.
So do we have that system here? Like you will doing online hands-on for Unity and this hands-on, or like we have to buy the
So
software,
No,
or
these
we will be, it will be like how?
I think that will be
How the,
answered by Channa sir and all. Like I'm not
okay,
sure about.
means how the games will be made and all that.
let me answer. This resource person is not concerned with the Unity.
Okay, okay, okay.
Basically, in Unity, what you will be doing is there will be what are called as assets, built-in assets, cubes, rectangles, etc., 3D objects, 2D objects, etc. Those things you will be dragging onto your scene. Okay.
So we can do our own also at the same time.
So yeah, you can create your own 3D objects, 3D models, like use like Blender, Maya, etc. But for the normal programmer, if you are not an expert, if you are not interested in 3D modeling, what you will do is there will be built-in objects which you can add to your scene, and there will be what are called as assets. That's the main thing. Assets is something like your application programming interface. So there will be huge number of assets which will be using. Once do a thing from scratch. So there will be huge number of assets. Created the ID, installing the Unity. The purpose of creating the ID is to access the assets. So those assets you can use. You can even download the images, 3D models. You can even download the what are called as animations. Say you can download the cat and you can download the animations of cat like jumping, moving forward, moving backward, etc. All those things will be you can download and add. So after that, if you want to actually program, that means if you want to make the objects move as you like, then you need to do the C# scripting.
That is agreed, sir. So just asking, like that online lab will be there, or we have to install a software on our own Unity, or the lab will be given online to us?
No. Yesterday you have installed Unity, no?
Yes. So
the presenter will be demonstrating. You have to do on your own in your system.
okay. So there is no online system, online lab, or okay.
No online lab. You will be demonstrating.
Okay.
Do the practice.
Yeah, you can do the practice on your own. Like if you are able to create that accounts which is related for SDKs and editors, and then you will be able to do all those. There won't be any problem. What Channa sir said is right. Any doubts? Any other doubts?
So what is the importance of namespace, sir? We can use without namespace also.
No. Actually, namespace in the sense a cluster, right? What I told is a cluster. Without namespace means you will be. I mean, there will be no uniqueness for that. So it will be in the air. So if you, as you are learning new things, right? I think as going forward, you will be knowing about the namespace. Importance. Like, let's say I will, as it is a break time, I will give you an example. Let's say we have an application, so it will be interacting with database. Okay, we'll be having let's say 3 layers. The very first layer will be like data access layer, where the data access layer will be completely accessing database. There won't be any link between database and the other layers actually. So there will be one layer. So whatever the code or whatever the things, whatever the member data or whatever the interfaces, whatever the enumerator, whatever the required stuff, what are the required states and behaviors that will be given or that will be provided inside a single namespace. So let's say data access layer, namespace data access layer is capable of getting connected with database and doing the required operations. So we'll be splitting the operations, right? Data access layer, business logic layer, presentation layer. So basing on these layers, we'll be using the namespaces. Namespaces plays a vital role in the architecture.
Okay. Okay, sir, got it. Sir, what is the difference between console.write line and console.write, sir?
Yeah, we can use the both, no problem.
No, one prints the one after printing it goes to the cursor goes to the next line with right arrow.
Next line, yes.
In case of console.write, it will be on the
It will be at the same position. Yes, yes. Instead of /n, like it will be using the right line.
Okay, participants, if you have any problem with the installation of Visual Studio, you can interact with the resource person. He will help you.
Yeah, I'll be asking you.
Otherwise, maybe 10 minutes break. Come back after 10
So, Voi, if you can help us find out that console thing, na, which I was asking before also.
Yeah, if you have ability to share your screen, please share it. I'll be asking.
I am not able to share. I don't know. There is no option.
I think you need admin privileges to do that.
If admin can give us so that I can share the screen.
Just a minute, organizers will help you. Ramakrishna,
Please.
Sir?
sharing a Judo. Somebody called Nitin Arora is requesting for sharing his screen.
Sir, Nitin Arora, sir. Sir, you can find present now option at the bottom of your screen.
What are present now? Yes, I can see.
Click on it.
I can see.
Click on it. You can find three options:
Yes.
your entire
Yes.
screen, a window, a tab.
I have just done that. I have just done that. Hari
Well,
Babu,
you
sir,
are
can
able
you,
to
can
present.
you see that?
Yeah, I'm able to see your screen.
So now this is the thing which is I was showing to you. So now I cannot find that console.
Can you remove console application? Can you enter only console application?
I read console only.
Console, okay. Leave it. WPF. Like, can you go to the installer actually?
So I can go on this.
I think you can go back. Resource person will get a clear idea. I can go back. Press the back button.
1 second.
Arbabu sir,
Sir.
beginning probably.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry. Actually, you have installed a different thing. We need Microsoft Visual Studio 2019, but you are using Blend. Can you go down? In search, can you type Visual Studio? Search, please, in the search. Can you please type Visual Studio? Yeah, 2019 is there, right? Can you right click on that?
This one, right?
No. Yeah, can you right click on that? You can pin it to taskbar even so that there will be no need for going every time actually. Like, yeah, can you go there? Right click. No, actually you need to right click and run it as administrator.
I think he has done it. Visual Studio is loading.
It was a very heavy file. Like,
yeah, you're right. Actually, I have provided an option only to select the desktop development, or else you'll be having a large file and a large download is required. Only desktop development will be having 6 to 8 GB of installation space actually.
yes,
So if you are going to,
it was
if you are going to
30
use
GB.
any, yeah. If you are willing to work with web applications and all, you need to select any other application, .NET web application development.
I just thought we will be doing something on mobile testing and all that. Why install almost everything?
No, I didn't get you. Like, pardon?
I said I thought we would be doing some kind of testing on mobile desktop and mobile testing and all that. So there was mobile development and all that. So I just did all it.
Acha. No, actually. So based on interest, you can do it. No problem. Like for Android, you need to have Xamarin installed.
Xamarin,
yes. Wherein the web applications are based on architecture. Like if you are okay with MVC, then you need to go with ASP.NET desktop development, or else if you want to go with .NET Core, then you need to select a different type of SDKs that's supporting .NET Core.
So you are full time into this making games and all that?
Actually, previously I have a little idea on this Unity and all, but I'm not into that. I'm a full stack
Okay.
developer for web development.
Okay.
Yep. So where we'll be working on industrial automation domain. We'll be having not only web application, we'll be having Windows application on-prem, and we'll be having web application where we are going to have interaction with whatever the objects that have been created in Windows application. We'll be interacting it with web, wherein we'll be having a cloud as well, where we are using Azure cloud. So a complete what we can say like industrial automation, sir. IIoT structure we are following.
Hello, sir.
Sir.
Somebody is requesting for the installation procedure.
Yep. Sir.
I can post that link in the chat box. He showed
Okay. Sir, you have already shared it in Drive, sir?
No, you have installation procedure.
Nitin Arora,
Yeah,
sir, stop your presentation.
me
If you're done with the...
Okay, sir. Okay.
You want me to share, sir?
Okay, you select the link and post it in the chat box so that
Sure, sir. Sure.
the participants can view on their own system.
Sure, sir. Give me 2 minutes of time, sir. I will do it. I have pasted it in the chat window. Could you please let me know if you are able to access that or not?
I think somebody called Naina asked it. You can check it. The link is posted. You can check it. Naina, are you there?
Sorry, I think by mistake I have posted some different thing. I will copy it again. Yeah, I have pasted that link in chat window. You can use that link. https://tinyurl.com/vs installer 2019. Sir, I will be back in 2 minutes. Let me drink my water.
రామకృష్ణ
సార్
అది రికార్డింగ్ ప్రతి సెషన్ సెపరేట్ ఉండాలి, దాన్ని బ్రేక్ చేసి మళ్ళీ రికార్డ్ చేయాలి, మళ్ళీ అప్లోడ్ చేసేది ప్రాబ్లం.
సార్ రికార్డింగ్ బ్రేక్ చేసేనా?
స్టాప్ చేసి మళ్ళీ సెషన్ స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి.
సరే సార్, ఓకే.